Welcome to our fourth installment of 1 month of Torah in 5 minutes. This month we are going to be talking about the last Torah portion of Exodus and the first 4 of Leviticus. So this last Torah portion is a double Torah portion, and it's called Vayakhel Pekudei, and it marks the end of the book of Exodus. This is kind of a sad time because for a long time from now, we will be learning about our laws upon laws upon laws, but I will do my best to highlight the most interesting, the weirdest, the most confusing ones for us to learn. So this week we are still learning about, well, in this Torah portion, we are still learning about the building of the tabernacle with all of the different materials, gold, silver, dolphin skins, acacia wood, blue, red, and other colors. And we learn about what the priests are supposed to wear again, and that when the cloud comes over the Mishkan, it means that God's presence is with the people in the camp. And so at the end of any Torah book, we say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. The strong shall be strengthened, and we finish the book and move on to the next one. So the next Torah portion is called Vayikra, or the first one of Leviticus. And the real name for this book is called Torat Kohanim, which means instructions for the priests. And we are all considered priests, so we have to learn about it as well. So this first set of 5 chapters talks about Moses being invited into the Mishkan by God calling out to him. So you would think that Moses has such a close relationship with God that he would have just waltzed right in because he was the one responsible for building it. But instead he showed a great amount of humility by waiting for God to invite Moses to come into the Mishkan. So the next Torah portion is called Tzav, and it begins with the words, "This is the Torah of the Olah," which is a Hebrew word, Olah offering. When we think about Torah, we think about the first 5 books of the Bible, or the whole Bible. But this line teaches us that there are many ways of understanding the word Torah. Here it means the instructions for the ritual of this particular offering. We may also learn about the offering of well-being. Someone might give this as a way to thank God because they're making a vow and they wanted to keep it. And we should also remember that giving sacrifices is not always because of doing something wrong, but a way for humans to connect with God. So this Torah portion goes on to tell us how the priest should behave and about their ordination. If you're wondering why we have to know all of this, one answer might be that there were many priests and just one copy of the text. So just like them, we had to learn everything. So the next Torah portion is called Shmini, and this Torah portion serves a momentous occasion for the Israelite people. The priests were ordained in 7 days, and then on the 8th day, which is Shmini, Moses told the people to be prepared because Adonai was about to appear to them, and then they could start making their first sacrifices. So up until this point in the Torah, or in this part of the book, everything had been in theory, but now it is going to actually become practice. We learn about Aaron's sons, Nadav and Abihu, who were priests who went up together to make a sacrifice to God, but all of a sudden they were burned up. So they were said to have brought an alien or a strange fire to God, but there was no clear explanation why they just disappeared. But you could imagine that they might have been partying too much or did not follow the rules exactly, and that was their punishment. So after this incident, Aaron was silent for the rest of the time. This Torah portion also includes laws about kashrut, of keeping kosher, and it outlines all of the clean and unclean types of fish, animals, and insects. And this is where we learn about not eating pork or shrimp or vultures or worms or mice or lizards or any other kinds of animals like that. And the reason the Torah gives for the people to observe the rules of kashrut is that God said, "For I, Adonai, am your God, and you shall sanctify yourselves to be holy because I am holy," meaning God was holy. Okay, so then this next Torah portion is the last one for this month, and it's called Tazria Mitzorah, and this one is infamous for its disgusting factor. So these two Torah portions together are often read, and they just have icky stuff in it. So the first one, Tazria, is all about childbirth and blood, which is not so icky, but they go into detail. It is also regards the laws of Sora'at, or skin diseases. So it answers the question, what do you do if you have a sore on your arm and it's oozing and it has hair growing out of it? Like, gross. Okay. So we would go to the doctor pretty soon after seeing it, but the Torah gives exact details of what one should do in that case, and that involved going to see the priests. So these Torah portions are all about what is clean and what is unclean, and what is pure and not pure. So the next one, Mitzora, which is connected, we're learning about leprosy and how the priests were to make someone clean after they were unclean. And they were to bring sacrifices to the Mishkan, and after 8 days of being unclean, they would be anointed from the priest and with blood. Gross. Completely gross. Okay. But here's what they did. The blood was placed on the right thumb, the right ear, the right big toe, and then the blood would be covered in oil, and the rest of the oil would be put on the person's head who had leprosy. Wow. So the Torah portion continues with other scenarios like this one. So, what do we take from this? Our question for this month is, what does it mean to be holy and to act holy? And what does that include eating in a holy way? So, I hope you have a good month, and we will see you next month. Thanks.